Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a concept that's really foundational to any kind of progress. Our source material suggests it often just hinges on that first push, that initial step that kind of shifts everything. We're talking about the power of momentum. It's so easy to feel stuck in our, well, busy lives, maybe a bit uncertain about how to really move forward on a project, a goal, even just getting through a tough week. But our sources, they give us this really compelling visual. Picture a tiny snowball, right? Starting down a hill, gradually gathering more snow, getting bigger, stronger as it rolls. That image, well, that captures the essence of how momentum works in our lives. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack how momentum actually builds, what keeps it going, and why it's so impactful. For us personally, and maybe for others too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's vital to get right from the start
Yeah.
that momentum isn't just, physics like the snowball getting heavier. It's really a potent internal force. It powers our personal journeys, our evolution. Our sources really hammer home that understanding the mechanics here, well, it can be a shortcut. A shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about how to ignite personal progress and, crucially, how to sustain it. It shifts the focus away from needing these huge, grand efforts
Right.
and towards seeing the immense power in just consistent motion, even if it seems tiny at first.
Okay, let's unpack that then. Beyond the snowball image, which is great, but what is this momentum in a, let's say, more day-to-day sense? Our research talks about consistently moving even if progress seems slow. And there's this idea that every breath, every inch, every spark adds to this momentum. But, in a world that kind of screams for instant results, how do we actually stay motivated by these, well, seemingly tiny bits of progress? Is there a psychological angle there?
That's exactly where the real insight is, I think. The material makes it clear the power of the snowball effect isn't really about how big that snowball starts. It's the act of rolling, that continuous, unbroken movement. It's the accumulation that really matters.
Ah, okay.
And this ties into something key our sources mentioned, sort of like habit stacking. Each tiny step forward isn't just, well, a step. It's also reinforcing a pathway in your brain, making the next small step feel, I don't know, easier, almost automatic eventually.
So it becomes less effortful over time.
Precisely. You're turning what starts as effort into a kind of positive inertia. One source even says, each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to the bigger picture. The emphasis is really on that sustained effort, not waiting for some huge leap. The secret, as they put it, is in the energy we generate. Through that consistency, it's that internal spark, that choice to just keep going, even when things aren't clear or you don't see results right away.
That distinction, the act of rolling, not the initial size, that's powerful. It takes the pressure off needing some perfect, grand beginning. So let's dig into these consistent, often tiny actions. The material stresses that progress isn't always about rapid leaps, but the accumulated motion of each step forward, which, like you said, kind of goes against our modern desire for quick fixes, doesn't it?
It really does.
So how do these seemingly small movements actually ignite and sustain energy in such a big way? And I was really struck by some of the imagery used. This world we traverse is an intricate tapestry where the smallest movements craft our life's canvas. That really makes you rethink your daily grind, so to speak.
Yeah, what's quite insightful there is how the research connects those tiny, often forgotten actions to, well, eventually monumental results, cumulatively anyway. And that metaphor, life as an intricate tapestry, it really works, doesn't it?
It does.
Each step we take, whether we think it's significant or not, is like a vital brushstroke. It shows how even what feels like minuscule effort isn't really wasted. It's actually contributing directly to that intricate mural that is our life. It's about seeing that every single bit counts. Every moment is creating momentum. It's subtly shaping the bigger picture, even when all we can see are the individual threads right in front of us.
Can you give an example of that? Like, what's a brushstroke in practice?
Sure. Okay. Say you want to learn a new language. That vital brushstroke isn't suddenly being fluent. It's the maybe 5 minutes you practice on an app each day, or reading one paragraph, or tackling one tricky grammar point.
Got it. Small, consistent things.
Exactly. These small, deliberate actions, they build a sense of accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
Which reinforces your belief that you can do it, what psychologists call self-efficacy. And that feedback loop effort, then a tiny success, then stronger belief that fuels the energy for the next brushstroke. It keeps the momentum going.
That makes a lot of sense. Translating brushstroke into just 5 minutes a day, yeah, that adds a whole new perspective. Okay, let's widen the view a bit, because the sources also talk about ripples of positivity that extend beyond our journey. So this isn't just about us growing. How does our personal momentum, our individual brushstrokes, actually benefit or maybe inspire other people? How does it ripple outwards?
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting, moving from the personal to the communal. The material suggests these ripples of effort create waves of positivity and inspiration, not just for ourselves, but for everyone we cross paths with.
Hmm.
Think about it. Individual perseverance, just the act of someone consistently trying, pushing forward despite challenges, that naturally inspires people.
Yeah, you see that
It's
sometimes.
often not just the big, shiny success that motivates others, but seeing the persistence through the struggle.
Hmm.
You know, when people see your consistent small efforts, maybe even when you stumble, but then get back up, that honesty, that resilience, that can be way more impactful than some perfect story.
That's true. It feels more real.
Exactly. One passage says we can become a beacon of inspiration and motivation to each other simply by sharing these sparks of our own progress. It's a powerful thought. Just by genuinely working on our own forward motion, we inherently become a source of encouragement for others, a catalyst maybe. It's less about telling people what to do and more about just showing what's possible through steady effort.
That's a really compelling idea that just by authentically doing our thing, being seen doing it, we can light the way for others. But of course, keeping that momentum, well, it isn't always smooth sailing, is it? We're told to get inspired, stay determined, and embrace the journey. So let's talk about the internal side. What role does resilience play? That relentless push against the tides of uncertainty and self-doubt, how does that fit into maintaining momentum? And maybe more practically, how do we actually sustain that internal drive when those tides feel really strong?
Yeah, that's a crucial question. Because resilience isn't just, nice to have. It's absolutely critical for sustained momentum. It's the engine, really. The thing that keeps that snowball rolling when it hits bumps or rough patches or times when the path forward just seems to disappear.
Hmm.
Our sources suggest resilience is less about never falling down and much more about the ability to get back up,
Yeah.
to adapt and keep moving forward despite the setbacks.
Okay, so how do we cultivate that? How do we sustain it?
Well, it's not just about pure willpower or grit, though that's part of it.
Hmm.
It also involves something our sources touch on, like cognitive reframing, actively choosing how you see things, maybe seeing a challenge as an opportunity to learn, or focusing on the one small thing you can control or do rather than everything you can't.
Right, shifting perspective.
Exactly. And they offer a really powerful internal message for this. Believe in yourself. Believe in your future. You will find your way.
Hmm.
It's about reinforcing that self-belief, that quiet confidence that, okay, you can figure this out. Your internal compass is generally pointing the right way. The material even talks about a fire burning inside you is mighty. It is waiting to burn bright.
Wow.
Yeah, that fire's like your innate potential, your drive.
Hmm.
And keeping it glowing involves consciously noticing and maybe celebrating those small efforts we talked about. Each tiny win, each brushstroke, it acts like fuel. It strengthens that internal belief and gives you the energy to face those waves of uncertainty and keep moving forward.
A fire burning inside you is mighty. That's
Yeah, that's a really profound way to think about our inner strength. So we've covered a fair bit today in this deep dive. We've seen momentum starts with just one step, often a hard one, that initial push. From there, it builds like that snowball.
yeah.
Gaining strength through consistent, often small, sometimes invisible efforts. And crucially, these accumulated efforts don't just impact us personally, creating growth. They also create these powerful ripple effects, inspiring others around us. The core reminder from all this seems pretty clear. Remember, each moment creates momentum.
Absolutely. And maybe, just to build on that for final thought, consider this. How might your daily perspective genuinely change if you started actively acknowledging every minuscule effort, every single one of those vital brushstrokes? What if you saw them not as trivial, but as essential parts of the whole? It's kind of an invitation, isn't it? To not just be a passenger observing the labyrinthine beauty of our journey with all its twists.
But to consciously share these sparks of your own progress, however small they seem. Because by doing that, you help keep this momentum alive, not just for you, but as a beacon for everyone. Maybe the most powerful thing you can do today, for yourself and others, is just find the courage for that next small step.
A really powerful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Now go out there and, well, notice the momentum building in your own life, one intentional brushstroke at a time.